Good morning, supervising team. I just wanted to quickly touch base in regards to our Viva Voce interviews. These will start this week if you're really keen, but mainly in week 11 and also week 12 during the year 12 exam block. So I just want to run through this morning what our main requirements are for the Viva Voce. Even if you are a seasoned EE supervisor, please watch this because each year we do have errors that we need to go back and fix. And quite often that happens right before the upload. So in order to avoid all of that chaos, if everyone can just use this video as a bit of a refresher, please take note of a couple of the procedures that might have changed since the last time that you completed a Viva with a student. So Viva Voce, week 10, week 11, and week 12, okay? These are only by supervisor appointment, and everyone needs to do this interview face-to-face. They're not to be done via Google Meet, and I'll explain why in a moment. But if you can just take note, if you really want to get your Viva Voce out of the way this week with your student or students, you can set a Viva Voce this week. You do not need to have the extended essay marked in order to do a Viva Voce interview, okay? As I mentioned, there might have been some changes to the Viva procedure. So can you just make sure that I've included in this email a document that I need you to make sure that you've gone through. It's quite simple to mess up and not check something on a student's behalf, but also on the supervisor's behalf. We need to be across that. So please make sure that you go through this document. Please make sure that you have a look particularly at this section on the day, exactly what you need to do. This is not just a chance to chat about life, okay, with the student. There's a very clear procedure. So as always, I do include some recommended questions. You don't have to stick to these. You can use more specific questions about the student's topic, about their research. Subject-specific questions are always great as well. There's some possible questions here, how you could word them. What is different this year, and some of you did do this last year, but some of us didn't, and that's why I'm stressing that we use this procedure, is the plagiarism check. Everyone needs to include a plagiarism check as part of this Viva Voce procedure, okay? And one thing that most of the supervisors we weren't very consistent with last year is actually making sure that you sign off that you've done a plagiarism check. In this email, I've also included a document where you can tick off that you've done the plagiarism check and just email it back to me, sign it digitally if you must, just so I know that you've done that. The reason is that if we have an audit from the IB and the IB questions anything, which has happened in the past with students' integrity, we need to be able to say, yes, Yvonne has checked this student's work for plagiarism, that we've done our part, okay? So this is essential. Please, 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 I can't stress enough, please go through this. This involves you jumping on to Turnitin, okay? Now, if you can't remember how to do a plagiarism check with Turnitin, please use this checklist here. I've also included another link in this email so that you can have a look at me doing it in a video, and it's only a couple of minutes, but these should be pretty helpful for you, okay? So plagiarism check is part of the Viva Voce again this year. Following on from this, so this is what the plagiarism check declaration looks like, okay? So all you need to do is make sure that the student signs it and that you sign it. You can either place it on my desk or you can email me a screenshot, whatever's easiest for you. But please, this must be done, and I will be collecting these and we'll be storing them so that if anything happens on submission, we have those with us. From here on in, guys, after the plagiarism check and after the Viva Voce interview, so that's all in one interview, we do need to complete the final predicted grade and also give a supervisor report. This all needs to be done on ManageBack, more or less in the exact same way that you did the predicted grade for the student's draft. So you'll already have your marks still in there from their draft, and you'll also have your comments in there from their draft. You can delete those and basically refresh that so that it reflects this student's final grade for their extended essay per criterion. This is due, team, if you can take note, on Wednesday of week 3 next term when we come back. If you are Gerald, if you are Matt, if you are anyone who has a student, Olivia and you, if you're anyone who has a student who has an extension, please note that that will not be you. You will obviously have a little bit more time to complete that, okay? So if you can just make sure that you do go through the documents that I've attached in this email. Lastly, the last thing that you will need to do is put into the Viva Voce schedule the time of your appointment that you want to have with your student or students. So if you can just make sure we've got week 10, week 11, if you're choosing to do it in exam block, can you just make sure that you check the exam block schedule? You won't be able to do that until Paul releases it, obviously. But can you make sure that you check the exam block schedule, make sure that the time you're requesting doesn't clash with the student's exam, because obviously they can't be in two places at once. So find a time. If you need to add a row, go for it, add a row. But if you can please make sure you put in the day, the date, where you want them to meet you, who your student is. I will share this with the students and they'll need to make a note of their appointment time and turn up and be ready to go. Okay, so I hope that clarifies the expectations for the Viva Voce. And if you have any questions, sing out, come and grab me or just send me an email. Thanks so much, guys, for your efforts, and we are nearly there. Thanks, team.